everyone. We are going to be starting a new unit today. So let's get ready. Here's our learning target. Thank you for whole body listening. I don't think I need to remind us, right? Or do I? Should I? You guys should know it, right? Today we're going to measure length in inches, half inches, and quarter inches with rulers. Now, this is a 2-day lesson, so we will be doing this for 2 days. This is part 1. The reason we're doing this is because we need to solve real-world math problems that involve measuring inches and half inches and quarter inches. What are some things you guys have measured? What are things you measure at home? What are things, Charlie, you've measured? You measured metal, okay. What about you, Elena? Wood, you measure wood. What else, Marin?
Somebody said that they wanted to bring tacos.
Sawyer, can you stop? I can't hear her. You're measuring something to see if it'll fit? Okay. Lucas?
Exactly. And yeah, you'd end up getting...
You measure your wall? Okay. Cooper? Your feet? Sure. Max? Okay, so doors, chairs, a lot of different things. We use measurement all the time in real life. Here's our success criteria. You will be able to measure with non-standard and standard units, measure and draw line segments to the nearest inch, half inch, and fourth inch. We're going to measure lengths to show, this we won't do till tomorrow, but it is on here. We will measure lengths to the nearest fourth inch and show the data on a line plot. So tomorrow's lesson will revolve around line plots, so don't worry about that. But we're going to start with the review. So would you please open up your math spiral? We have now kind of moved on to a new concept, and I'm so worried that we're going to forget our other concepts. So in preparation to keep those alive, we are going to always have, maybe not always, but usually have a review. So today our review is going to involve multiplication. And these are the facts that I've thought are tricky. So they don't really have a chant. They don't really have a trick. So I chose these for us to use, and you will see them all week actually, because I thought if we do these, third graders, I hear a lot of side conversations. Voices off, please. If we do these for 4 days, we should be getting them memorized. So go ahead and write 7 times 6 in your math spiral. And I want somebody, boys, I want somebody to raise their hand who can explain how we would solve that problem. Not just give me the answer. I don't want just the answer because a lot of people don't know it yet. What can we do to find the answer? So if you have a good strategy and you feel comfortable explaining it, raise your hand for 7 times 6. Ben, I see your hand is up.
So my mom taught me this,
So you muted by accident, Ben? You were unmuted and then you must have hit it. There you go.
Okay, so my mom taught me this, but you do 6 times 6 is 36, then you add 6 more to see what that is.
Okay, if you didn't hear what Ben said, he said, if you know 6 times 6, anyone know 6 times 6?
6 times 6
6 times 6 equals 36. So if you know, okay, yes. If you know 6 times 6 is 36, you know 7 is only 1 more than 6. So you just add one more 6. And what do you get, Ben? 37, 38, 39,
42.
41, 42. Excellent, Ben, I heard you. 42. Hey, now, same idea for 8 times 8. Don't just give me an answer. Be able to explain how you would find that answer. All right, Marin, I'm going to give you the microphone. Because I want everybody to hear.
I remember that it's a square number, and I just remember the square numbers.
Okay, so she remembers that it's a square number, and you memorize the square numbers. Okay, what if you don't know that? That's excellent. I'm proud of you. Ellie, what if you don't know the square product? What if you don't know that product? Some people might not have that memorized.
If you don't know the square number, you could just add 8 more times.
That's going to take a lot. Is there a shortcut we could use? Is there something you do know, like Ben knew? Ben knew 6 times 6 is 36. So that started at 36, and then we only add
Add 6
more.
more.
So that's a lot of 8s to count 8 times.
You could do 8
Add
times
6
5
more.
and add 3 more.
Okay, so I love it. She said, let me use her thinking, okay? I'm not going to be able to do everybody. So she said, if you know 5 times 8, which is what, Miss Ellie?
8 times 5 is 40.
40. You just have to add 3
7
more
times 6.
8.
8 times 8 is 64. 7 times 7 equals 49.
Hey, Jensen, I'm not sure what you're doing, but can you put your mute on? Thank you. So we know 5 times 8 is 40, and then we add 8 more, you've got 48. And then we've got 8 more, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, then you're at 56. And then you add 8 more, plus you add the 8, add 8 again. What are you going to get? 56 plus 8?
64.
64. Okay, so my point is there are strategies. If you don't know, or maybe you think you have your square numbers memorized, but you want to check your work, you can do it that way. All right, 7 times 7. Anybody at home, Mrs. Harrison?
7 and Astria.
Astria, will you unmute and explain your thinking for 7 times 7?
7. So what you can do is you can just count by 7s till you get to another 7.
Okay, again, that sounds really time consuming. Is there a shortcut? What could we start at that we definitely know?
7 times 5.
Okay, 5 7 equals what?
Equals 35.
And then we could just add how many more 7s? How many more is 7 than 5? Microphone answer.
2.
Nice. Okay, so 35 plus 7 would be 42. Plus 7 would be what? 49. So 7 times 7 is 49. And everybody, 6 times 6 is 36. Nice. All right, let's look at our addition problem. We have 732 plus 268. Anybody willing to walk us through that? All right, Elena, you ready?
to the 3. And then B, it equals 9. So
Well, what about this? 6 plus 3 is 9, but you got to add that 1, right? What would that equal?
10. And so we add the 1 to the 7. And 1 plus 7 equals 8. So 8 plus 2 equals 10.
Don't forget your comma. 1,000. Well done. All right, Madison. I'm on it. Oh, I know. All right, what do we do here?
So 7 plus 4 equals 11. So you put your 1 and you carry the 1.
Making a new group into your tens.
And then 2 plus 9 equals 11. So you put your 1 down again. And you add your 1. And you add your 1. And then 7 plus 5 equals 12. Then you put your 12. And then you add your comma.
And can you read that for me without using the word and? 1,211. No and. Looking for volunteer at home. Would anybody like? Oh, I see a hand. Can I see a hand? Anybody like to do the next subtraction problem? 523 minus 267. Jensen.
3 minus here.
We're ready, Jensen, when you are.
Yeah, I was just plugging my mic in. Okay. So 3 minus 7 is 6.
It's impossible. 3 minus 7 is impossible, right? Unless you're getting into negative numbers, which we're not doing in 3rd grade. So what do I have to do, Jensen, since I can't do 3 minus 7?
You have to take 2 away from, 1 away from the 2 and make 3 13.
So anytime the number on top is smaller or less than the number below it, Max, you can't do it. You have to make a new group, okay? All right, now can you do 13 minus 7? Jensen?
13 minus 7 is 6.
Wonderful. Can I do 1 minus 6?
No.
What do I have to do?
Make the 5 a 4 and then make 2 12.
I think it's a 1 now, right?
1.
So now it's 11, not 12, because I already crossed out that 2 and made it a 1. Be careful with that. So now you have 11 minus 6. Can you do that?
Yeah, it's 5.
Excellent. And then 4 minus 2
Is 2.
is 2. Okay, I'm going to quickly do the last one because of time. We are in the ones place. 1 minus 2. Can I do that? No. So I knock on the door. I make a new group. I take a 10 away from the tens place, and now I have 11 minus 2. 11 minus 2 is 9. Can I do 3 minus 5? Ungroup my hundreds. I'm going to borrow some tens there. A 10 with that 3 makes 13, which is really 13 tens. 13 minus 5 equals, not quite. Count up from 5 to 13. 5 in your head. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One more finger, 13. So 8. And 7 minus 6 is uno. All right, how'd you do? How are you feeling about computation? That's the only thing I didn't do is division yet. I'm still trying to get you to memorize those facts. All right, for multiplication. Okay, so let's get going with our learning target today. All right, I am gonna do a little bit. I'm wondering how I'm gonna need a desk, and I might need you to film me. Here's what we're going to do. I am going to, we talked about in our learning target using non-standard units of measure. So I'm going to ask you to estimate. I'm going to show you a pencil. This is going to be pencil 1, okay? So first pencil, I'm going to ask you to estimate the width of the desk in the classroom with pencil number 1. I'm going to show you pencil number 1. You guys see it here in person? This is pencil 1. If you are at home, I'm going to show you pencil 1. Real quick. Actually, you don't need to. I can, yeah, let's see. I kind of want them to see how I'm going to measure it, if you don't mind. Yeah. Okay. This is pencil 1. My question to you, see, I want you to see that. You can see it compared to my remote. How many pencils will it take? I'm going to go over to a desk in a minute. How many pencils will it take to find the length? And Josh, can I use your desk? Can I use it to measure? Of Josh's desk. It's just a classroom desk. Write down your guess. Write it down. How many of these pencils will it take for a school desk? You guys remember the desks in school, right? How many of those do you think? Write your guess. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. You're going to write your guess here. Anybody have a guess for me? How about Lennox? How many do you think? How many of these will it take to go across Josh's desk? The length of his desk. I didn't hear you. 20? Okay. All right, so here's a guess from Lennox says 20. You guys are gonna write your guess down. Now I'm gonna show you, hopefully you have your guess. I'm gonna try to, yeah, I gotta stop sharing and then it'll work. Yeah. Oh, I'm not a host or something. You do it for you. All right, here we go. Thank you, Josh. Silent drum roll. If you are in person and you can turn around and look, stand up. Josh is stand up if you need to move closer. Right there. You might need to come see. Stand up. Or you guys can look there. Yeah, there's something. Okay. Let's see if they do that. Just the Josh and the one. Oh, you can see it on the screen. Okay, I'll do it again. Just the Josh. All right, ready? 1, 2. You see what I'm doing? I'm putting my finger where it is so I know. 3. Help me count. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. About 10. If your guess was greater than your estimate, stand up. If the actual, sorry, it happened to be, what did we say, 10? If you had the same thing, if your estimate was greater than the actual, stand up.
What does greater mean?
More, larger.
Okay.
All right, sit down. If your estimate was lower than the actual, stand up. Okay. Now, we're going to try another pencil. We're just going to pencil number 2. You're going to write your estimate. Here is pencil number 2. How many of these pencils, look compared to my remote, how many of these pencils do you think it will take to find the length of Josh's desk? How many of these? Go ahead and write, think about what you know. It took 10 of these. How many pencil lengths of this pencil, number 2, will it be? All right, Evie, what do you think? How many? Okay, I'm going to just use Evie's as an example. She thinks 3. You might have a different answer, I would think. Everyone's a little different. Let's check it out and see how close our estimate is. Looks like it's still pinned, so I'm good to go. I'll move this. All right, here we go. Let's count. Yeah, you guys can look at it on the board if you want. I'm going to use that same strategy, lining it up at the end of the desk, putting my finger where it should be. That's 2, 3, and 3.5. Evie was really close. Nice job. So I'm going to write 3.5. All right. So why don't we just use pencils to measure everything? What do you think? Abby?
Why we don't measure everything with a pencil? Because if just say the school parking lot, you cannot measure that in pencil. That would take forever.
Okay, it would take a long time, but why can't, this is a non-standard unit of measurement, right? It's not something we use for measuring, like when we go to Home Depot and we want to know how much wood we have. They don't say, well, how many pencil lengths is it? Or how many shoe lengths is it? Why not, Gabe? Because the what do we know about pencils? Look at these pencils. Should I stop your now, right? Not, oh, I stopped your video, not. I can put you back on. I'll ask you to start video. Okay, so now here's what I want you to see. Think about this. Look at all these different pencils. If I went to Home Depot and I said, I need a piece of wood that is 10 pencil lengths long. Or if I said I want a piece of wood that's 3.5 pencil lengths long. They're going to look at me with a really weird look because they won't know how long that is because pencils can be different sizes. So we don't use that non-standard unit of measurement because when we do, you're not, Sawyer, you're not going to get the right amount. So it doesn't make sense. So instead, what do we use? We use a ruler. And we have units called inches. Now that's not our only unit, but that is what we are going to use today. So here's my question for you. How many inches, which is a standard form of measurement, Madison, do you think it will take to find the length of Josh's desk? Oh, I forgot. I need to. How many inches? Go ahead and write your estimate. How many inches will it take to measure the length of Josh's desk? Now, this is a standard unit. This is something we've agreed upon in our country, right? So that when we go to a store and we want to buy something, we know we're going to get the right amount. It's one of our U.S. customary measurements. All right, I hope you have your estimate. Paxton, what do you think? How long do you think, or what's the width of Josh's desk in inches? What's your guess? He's thinking about 10. He's thinking 10 inches. Anybody think more than 10? Anybody think less than 10? Okay, I'm going to quickly measure it. I'm not going to worry about flashing the whole thing again. But I really should have them see this. All right, we're going to watch it. Okay, Mrs. Harrison's going to show us. All right, here we go. So when you use a ruler, it's really important that you line it up at the end or on the number 0. Elena, hey guys, you don't need a pencil. You don't need a pencil to listen. You just want to listen, right? Some rulers have a 0. Some rulers just start on the end, but you got to know your ruler. This ruler does not have a 0, so I know I start right at the end. Lining it up, I'm going to put my finger where the 12 is, because this is a 1 foot. Here I go, I'm lining it up. Now I've got 2 feet, or 12 plus 12. What's that going to equal? You have to go to 24. 24. Lining it up, 24 plus 2 more inches. 26 inches. Well done. 26 inches wide. Thank you, Josh, for the use of your desk. I appreciate that. Good job, Ben. All right. So the width of the desk is 26 inches. Now think about that. Think about that, you guys. We had 10 pencil lengths, 3.5 pencil lengths. What do you mean? We don't understand. But when we go in and we say it's 26 inches, does that make sense? Is it gonna, are we gonna get them? Something's going on with this. I'm sorry. Do you need to take a moment? Are you okay? I'm not sure. I didn't see what happened. Okay. Therefore, inches is the way to go today. We will learn about other units as well, but let's stick with inches for our learning today. Here's what I want you to be thinking. Since we are kicking off our measurement unit, I want you to suppose a truck carrying a huge tank of milk was parked in the parking lot outside WestJet. All right? Huge truck pulls up. What measurements would tell us something about this truck? Annie, what are you thinking? Yeah. What could we use? What kind of measurements could we take on the truck? What things? Sure. Well, what measurements are you trying to find? Okay, so the length, you might want to find the length, and she's thinking we could use yards. What other unit could be used besides yards? What did I use just now? That's the what? 12 inches is a foot. We could use feet. What else could we use? Max, find out about this. For what? What would you be measuring? No, liters is liquid volume. What might?
I said meters.
Meters, okay. Yeah, you could use meters. I thought you said liters. We could also, we were in the metric system. We could use meters to find the length. Okay, what else might we find besides length? Yeah, Marin.
How tall it is.
The height. So that length and height would go with the same measurements. Charlie, what else? One more time? Well, we wouldn't use centimeters on the truck. Remember, a truck is very big. You don't want to use that on a truck. Maybe,
Inches.
the other you.
How many ounces of milk were it?
Because it is carrying milk, right? That's going to be the capacity of the milk containers. Capacity, how much it can hold. And mostly, we're not going to do ounces. When you go to the grocery store, what do you buy your milk in?
Gallons.
Gallons, right? So go get a gallon of milk, hon. So gallons. How many gallons of milk is it carrying? Because remember, this is a milk truck and it's got a tank. How many of you have ever been traveling on the highway and you see that trucks have to pull over? And they have to pull over for what? You know, and they check something else. What else? Does anyone know what they're checking? How what, Lucas? Okay, not know what they're checking. What is it, Charlie? They are looking for weight. They have to drive over on a scale, make sure it's not too heavy, right? Because they're going on roads, going over bridges. So they have to get weighed. So we weigh trucks, believe it or not. What about the distance it travels? Well, if we want to know on the odometer, distance traveled, what would we measure that with? Miles, right? Or kilometers, if you're thinking metric units. All right, so measurement comes in many forms. We've really been focusing on inches, but there's a lot of things we're going to focus on during this unit. When we measure length, what units do we use? What units do we use, Gabe? We just did the length of Josh's desk. What were some of the units we used? Inches. What else can we use besides inches when we measure length? Paxton. Feet. What else, Max? Yards. These are all U.S. standard units of measurement. What else? Okay, so now you're getting into the metric system that they use in other countries. What other things? Yes. We got feet. Yes. That is for liquid volume, but we do use, oh, you're thinking, what did you say? Millimeters, not meters. Okay, yes, millimeters, which are tiny, right? Because inches are pretty big. The U.S. system doesn't have a very small unit, do we? Think if you were a dentist and you're trying to figure out how far you need to move a tooth with braces, you can't talk inches. You'd have big gaps in your teeth. They need the metric system. Millimeters would be one they'd use a lot, wouldn't they? There's also something called a decimeter, which is 10 centimeters. And then somebody said it earlier, I think it was Max meters. We can use all of these units when measuring length. What about weight? When you go to the doctor, what do they weigh you in, Cooper? Baby might have ounces attached to it. What? We measure our weight in pounds, and yes, we use ounces as well, but none of us are light enough to just be measured in ounces, right? So pounds and ounces. Like when my babies were born, it was like 7 pounds, 5 ounces. So you attach it to that. And then if you were in the metric system, have you heard of kilograms and grams? What about liquid volume? We talked a little bit about liquid volume. Elena, what do we say our milk comes in? Yeah, gallons. Is gallons the only liquid measurement we use? What else, Paxton? So in the metric system, we've got milliliters. Those are very small. What else? Charlie? Liters. What else do we measure? Ounces. Anything else? There's more. When I'm making a recipe, Josh, it'll ask for how many blank of cups. And think of your water bottles. Anyone know what that is? A quart, right? Quart. And then last but not least, Finn, telling time. How do we tell time? I worked outside for hours, or it only took me a minute. Give me just a second, right? And then we're going to be gone for 3 days. You skipped a couple in there. Weeks. There we go. Months.
Century.
What about this one?
We barely have an
Assessment and the self-evaluation.
Decades. So there are a lot of units of measurement that we will be looking at. All right, we're going to keep going. We will talk more about those in detail tomorrow, or not tomorrow. I think it's Wednesday. We'll do some liquid volumes, which will be fun. Yes. All right, here's a little intro. And hopefully you heard some of this from me. So guys, no voices.
I kept getting different answers. Let me show you what I did. My first try, I got 6 inches. Do you see something wrong? My second try, I got 8 inches. Do you see something wrong? My third try, 3 inches. See something wrong. Oh, I think I understand. So I have to make sure I line up the object. I have to start right at the top. And I have to pay attention to the units to make sure that I'm using inches and meters. Okay, let's see.
But so
Put my
so
pencil
August
straight
and
across
Sterling,
the
we're going to help you get that. Yes, and we
Started
sure so
right
I already
at zero.
helped you. I already went for it.
And I made sure that I was using inches and not centimeters.
Well, that's
So,
why
in
I
total,
this
it's
one
7 inches
like
long.
10 and a half. It's like
Awesome.
2,000 no problem with that.
Thanks for helping me learn how to measure.
So I talked to everybody involved and everybody's good, so you shouldn't have to.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, so that is something we need to be thinking about when we do our measuring, okay? Sorry, no, we don't want to hear it again. We just want to go on. Before we can actually practice our learning target, which is measuring to the 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 3/4 inch, we have to review fractions. We haven't had a chance to do that. The cool thing about it is that because of our division symbol, we have seen a fraction. You know how I always write 6 divided by 3? Sometimes we do that and it's on GimKit and all those things because I can't find a division symbol. And I told you that this means divide or 6 over 3. Either one is fine. That is a fraction. So division, fractions are division, but we are going to look at them a little differently today when we are measuring. So that line is a division symbol, but it also is used when we write a fraction like 1/2. When we measured Josh's desk and we found half of a pencil, often you guys say to me, how do I write that fraction? So we're going to look at that real quick. So pretend this is an inch. From here to here is 1 inch. We're going to pretend. It's not, but we're going to pretend. Josh, Isaac here. And I cut that in the middle. What would this section be considered? 1 what? Well, we're talking inches today. Is it the whole thing? Is it the whole inch or what? What is this called? It's 1 out of 2 equal parts. So a fraction is part of a whole. So when I'm looking at an inch and I say it's half of an inch, it's 1 out of those 2 equal parts. So that's half an inch. On your ruler today, you are going to see that the inch is divided into 4 equal parts. How many? 4. Sawyer, how many equal parts? 4. So watch what happens. Let's pretend this is the beginning of your inch. Here's 1 of those equal parts. Here's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4. If I were to measure something and it landed about here, that would be 1 out of how many equal parts? 4. That would be 1/4 of an inch. Now, what if I'm measuring something and it lands right here in the middle? That's how much of an inch? I could say it's 1/2 out of 4, but really we like to say it's half an inch, right? It's right in the middle. It's 2 out of 4 or 1/2. They're called equivalent fractions. They're equal. They mean the same thing. What if I'm measuring a pencil and it goes about to here? What do you think that fraction of an inch would be? If this is 1/4, this is 2, this would be 3 out of 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3. 3/4 of an inch. And then, of course, here is going to be my 4/4 or same as 1 whole. That's 1 whole inch. So when we are measuring to a half, you're going to write it like that. 1/2. 1 out of 2 equal parts. If you only have, so that would be about here. If you see a 1/4, that's going to be, here's your, it's only going to be about here, right? Because that'll be 1 out of my 4 equal parts. That would be 1/4 of an inch. If it's 3/4, that's going to be, here's my 1/4, here's my 1/2, here's my 3/4, because that's the end. The 3 out of 4, 1, 2, 3. If that's where it's ending on your ruler, it's 3/4 of an inch. This will make more sense once you guys get started, but I realize you guys don't even know how to write fractions, so hopefully we'll get better as we do it. But it's the same as that division symbol. And a fraction is just part of the whole, because sometimes you don't get the whole, right? Especially when measuring. It never seems to be exact. So turn to page 159. We're going to circle length units and fractions of units to show the length of the line segment. We'll do most of these together because this is a new concept until we get better at it. Page 159. Henrik, thumb up. Are you ready? Are you on 159? Awesome sauce. All right. So here's how we will look at it. When you are measuring something on a ruler, 159, you want to do exactly what the lady said in the video. You want to line it up. Do you notice that this ruler has a 0 at the end? Ours didn't have that. So you would not want to line it up at the end of the ruler. You would get the wrong measurement. You want to line it up with the line that says 0. And now look what we can do. Take your pencil. Let's count the whole numbers first. That means that they actually have that many inches. Are you ready? We're going to find the length of this line segment, the blue line segment. Here's 1 inch. Do it with me. 2 inches. 3 inches. All right, we're going to write our whole number. We know it's at least, it's 3 inches long, but it's a little longer. But it's not going to be the whole inch, because if it were, it would have to go all the way to 4, does it? No, it doesn't go all the way to 4. It only is part of that whole. Thinking of how many parts, let's count. There's 1, there's 2. It's 2 out of 4. What did we say? That's about halfway, right? Halfway between the 3 and the 4. So we would say this is 3.5 inches. And you guys can use the abbreviation IN period. So that line segment is 3.5 inches. It's not the whole inch. And that's how you would write it. You want to make sure your whole number is written first, then your fraction just goes next to it. Let's look at number 2. We're going to measure the length of the green line segment. Starting at the 0, here's my first inch. Here's my second inch. Can I go to 3?
No,
Why not, Haley?
because the line doesn't go all the way to 3.
It doesn't go all the way to 3. So I'm going to write it's definitely 2 inches, but it's greater than 2 inches. Let's count how many of these 4 parts we have. Count with me. 1, 2, 3 out of how many?
4.
There's 4 equal parts. There's the 4th one, but it's only at the 3rd one. So the length of the green line segment is 2 3/4 or 3/4 of an inch. Sometimes they call those quarters, right? Because there's 4 quarters in a dollar. 4 25s and 100. All right, let's look at number 3. I hope you are writing this with me. This is your practice on how to write a fraction, if we haven't had time to do that. All right, we're lined up at the 0. We're going to see how long this red line segment is. Count your inches first. 1. What should I write first, Paxton? What do I need to write? 1, right? That's my whole number. But am I done? No. What do I have to do? Okay, he's telling me I need to count the part that goes to the line. So a fraction is a part of a whole, right? So I gotta find the fraction of this inch, because it's not the whole inch. Well, do you have any guesses? Do you think it's half an inch? Is it all the way to the half mark? Is it to the 3/4 mark, 3/4?
It's the first one.
What does it have to be? How many fourths is that?
You just said it. Say it again, Paxton.
A 1/4 inch or 1/4 of an inch? Excellent. It's only one of those. It doesn't go as far as the halfway mark, and it doesn't go to the 3/4 or 3/4 mark. All right, does anybody think they know the length of number 4? Any guesses? I see 1, 2, 3. How about at home? Anybody want to share? What do you think the next one measures? Go ahead and draw your inches like we've been doing, and then see if you can figure this one out. I see people working hard. Ben's working hard. Katie's working hard. I think Lila's working hard. I don't see you, Lila. I see the top of your head. I'm sure you're working hard. Reese, good job. Haley Calendar, would you mind unmuting and just sharing your thinking? What do you, and it's okay if you don't know. I'm just curious what you're thinking.
I think 4 is 1 1/3.
Okay, so just so you know, we're only using halves, 1/4, and 3/4. Those are the only fractions you have to worry about. We're not doing thirds, and here's why, Haley. The ruler is not divided into thirds. It's only divided into fourths. So I'll show you what I mean. So here's our inch, right? There's 1. There's how many? 2 inches, so we know it's 2 inches. But look at these lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Could it be thirds? No. It has to be fourths. It's divided into fourths. So how many fourths is that, Haley?
1.
1. Excellent. Thank you for being brave and sharing your thinking. That's how we learn. Now this one's tricky because you can see that the ruler broke off. You see how it's broken on number 5? But it starts at 4, doesn't it? That's kind of weird. Can we still find the length? Yeah. We're using a broken one, but we can still find the length. Let's do this together. Ready? 1, 2. How many inches so far? 3 inches. How many quarters or fourths?
3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 7 inch. Hey, look at number 6. Number 6 is kind of funny. Why is this ruler wrong? What is wrong with that ruler?
2 and 3 are too close. And 6, 5, and 6. And 6 and 5. Oh yeah, and 5.
Look at those numbers. What? I hear it.
They're too close.
The numbers aren't divided up how? How should they be divided?
In 4 centimeters.
We're doing inches, right? Into fourths. Are they divided into fourths, Elena? What's wrong with them? So the units are not the same length, right? The units are not the same length. Go ahead and write that. They are not the same length. Would that mess up your measurement?
No. Yes.
It sure would. That would mess up your measurements. You get the wrong amount of wood or whatever you're looking for. Okay, they are not the same length. If you didn't get that all written, I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna try to hustle here. This is a 2-day lesson, so it's okay if we're a little, don't finish exactly where we meant to go. All right, so now comes the fun part. I sent a ruler home with you, so it was in your bag. If you did not pick up your bag yet, then see if you can get a ruler at home. Ask your mom or dad or brother or sister, grandma, grandpa for a ruler. We are going to now do some estimating. You're going to estimate the length of each line segment in inches. Then you're going to measure it to the nearest ½ inch. It's just like what we did with the desk. Same thing. You guys made an estimate. You said, I think that desk is going to be 20 inches. Then we actually measured it and found out. So before I give you a ruler, I want you to write your estimate for the 3 line segments. How long do you think that red line segment is? How long do you think the blue line segment is? And then how long do you think the green line segment is? Inches to the nearest ½ inch. And if you are in 2nd grade, you'll need to ask your teacher for a ruler. So I have rulers for you guys here, but before I hand them out, I have to see that you have your estimates written in there. For example, and I'm going to put something ridiculous because I don't want to give you my thinking, but I might say 512 inches long. Obviously, that is wrong, but if I put anything in there, I don't want you to think I know. Let's be a little better, 75 inches long. Still ridiculous, right? Then you might say, okay, 33 inches, 47 inches. These are ridiculous because I don't want to give it away. And that's what I want to see before I give you the ruler. And then what we'll do is you'll actually measure these. Okay? When you think you're ready for a ruler to actually practice it, raise your hand. Make sure you're using the inch side and not the centimeter side.
Make sure you use
It's
the red
red.
side. Yep, red side.
But you're not always going to have a colored ruler. You want to actually look at it and notice that it's a large unit is larger.
Hey! What side of the ruler is it?
It should be the inches side. So the larger unit, not the little centimeter one. If you want to show it to me, I could help you. Hold on. Where'd you go? Yeah, that side. The side you're showing me is the one you want.
Okay.
Good job, Haley. If you forgot how to write a half, it's in the directions right here. See? And you can do 1, 4, 3, 4. I think you're only going to need a half though. Can I see you measure those? Okay, let's see if you can give me your own. Okay, so I'm really supposed to share. Okay. All right, guys, so we are going to work on this tomorrow because I have a lot of things I'm noticing with the ruler. So what'll be good about that is you should have a ruler tomorrow. If you don't have one, make sure you get one, okay? Let's see. Give me a quick thermometer. How are you feeling about inches to the 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 3/4 inch? If you're not there yet, we are not done, okay? So don't feel bad. All right, guys, nice job in math today. Don't finish that page, and we will see you tomorrow.